Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Penn, and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be my official review for the Zidoo Z9X Pro. And it's kind of funny how time actually flies by, because when I looked at my first impressions video of this device, video done very well. And shout out to the viewers in the community that actually supported that content. Now this video is going to be longer because I've owned this device for at least 9 months. So I figured that it was a good enough time for me to do a review on this and have this be a little bit longer, because versus the competition or the other media players, I haven't covered this not as consistently as the others. And that can be due to personal preference, or there is a Zidoo forum. There's tutorials out there to where you can get support on this device. Versus something like a Dune, there really wasn't much out there when it comes to getting that set up from the ground up and being successful. So Zidoo advertises as a high-end 4K HDR experience. In my testing, I beg to differ, to be quite honest. You're seeing in the video that I do have two remotes. One is the remote on the left. It's going to be like the orange colored one. That's an IR based remote. The remote that you see over to the right, where it has like that greenish color, that is Zidoo's Bluetooth remote that is compatible for this device. Now that is a separate purchase, so I'm going to try to put all the links down in the description just so you can see, what's out there, and also what's some caveats or what are some pitfalls when it comes to this device as well, as I'm going through my talking points. And I'm going to mention this some in the video, but there's going to be more pros than cons when it comes to this device. But overall, I just want to be able to highlight what really shines and what really don't. And at the end of the day, it's all about providing the end user with the information at the end of the day. Now, one of the cool things about this is that it does have the support for AV1. So it is future proof in case you care about those type of things. Now on the market, the reason why this is very popular, not only is it talked about quite a bit for those local media enthusiasts that's in the digital realm, it has a affordable price point for nice performance. You pay for what you get, and Zidoo gives you plenty of options to get your content on the device. It's Android based, which that's a plus for it. And at the end of the day, this is meant for your local media library. And if you prefer local, then this can be a device that you can look into. All right, so when you load into the Zidoo Z9X Pro, you're met with a simple interface, easy, readable, no advertisements, just something that's really simple. The left side is going to show the time and the date. This can show like the weather. I have to like update this myself, but really doesn't mean anything related to the review. You have your application list. You have a media center, home theater 4.0. This application will be the main reason why you would be purchasing this device. And this for like movies and TV shows. They do give you a music player 7.0, which is, this is their dedicated music application in case you have some local music files that you want to use on the Zidoo. So out of the box, the only thing that was like side loaded was Analytics, and that's like a speed test. Um, Now since I've owned this device, I've played things off of a external hard drive, Western Digital 4 TB, and I've also mainly played things through a Synology 2-bay NAS, in which all that is that I'm streaming over my network. The network attached storage, have it plugged directly into the router, and then the Zidoo picks up on any of your network shares, and you're able to scan that type of media into this device. So Zidoo does give you options when it comes to viewing your content. It's your personal preference. There is a browser function. I never care for this. There's a cleanup, app lock, and about. So I'm going to start down here. You see this plus icon here, and you're able to add some applications. Think of this like a shortcut or a quick menu, if that makes sense. So for me, I can do settings. That's fine. And let's say I want to have the music player 7.0. Also, let's put that APK installer in as well, because that's a neat application and feature to this device. So settings, music, and APK installer. Let's just say that that's what I wanted down here. Now, if I wanted to remove those, it's simple. I go to this plus. Let's say I wanted to remove settings. Boom, just like that. All right. Now I'm going to go into the quick settings here. If you see my first impressions, perhaps I can link it in this video. I'll go over this stuff much more deeply, but the settings is going to come down to personal preference. Now, one of the things that I will highlight here is you see right off the back, there's an auto frame rate. If you're sensitive to jutter, or maybe you have like a OLED television and things like that, it may be in your best benefit to set the frame rate mode to match frame rate only. And if you would like, you can do match frame rate and resolution. I usually match the frame rate because I would like the TV and the player to upscale the content versus me matching literally everything. But Zidoo gives you the option. This is going to clean up the performance and make the video playback a lot more easier and enjoyable to look at. Just my take on it, that's all. Everything else here, to be quite honest, I left at default. A lot of this stuff is personal preference, like I stated. But one of the things about Zidoo is that they give you different options for color, HDR to SDR. They give you some image parameters. So you see here, you can fine tune it to your liking. The HDR is useful because when you have this plugged in to your projector or to a television, right now I have this hooked up to a capture card, and these options will be limited based off of your display capabilities and what you're plugging it into. So some of you may plug this into a television projector natively versus a soundbar or receiver. So these options may vary, but they give you things that you can map HDR10 where all content will be displayed up to that. And they have like this Dolby Vision VS10 engine going on to where if you want to show the Dolby Vision that comes with this device, their VS10 engine, then you're able to go in here and select certain things. And it also can be useful for tone mapping scenarios in which maybe your projector, it may not support HDR or Dolby Vision. There are some people out there that may have like SDR only projectors, and you can use one of these options to where it's going to tone map it to where the colors are not looking wacky or washed out, and everything is going to be presented as it's intended. So that could be a useful option. And the TV LED or the player LED, I did a dedicated video on this. This comes down to what you feel is best for your scenario. Now for audio, if you're going to be running this through a soundbar or a receiver, if you have the audio codecs or the support that's built into your device, then you're going to run the HDMI audio on raw. And that's about it, truthfully. I'm hardwired for this video. You can connect Bluetooth devices. In the previous scene, you saw I had on the left the IR remote that came with this device, and on the right side it is the Bluetooth remote. Now that is something that I had to purchase extra when it comes to this device, but it makes the experience so much better. And I will leave a link for that in the description as well. This also comes with a Samba server. So if you have an external hard drive or hard drive enclosure, you have something that's connected directly to this device, then you can have it be a server to where other devices that supports can communicate with your Zidoo. I'm going to leave a link down in the video to where I answered a viewer's question, and you can see how the Samba concept ties in together. This video won't be a mashup of all the other content previously. It's just going to be giving you just some things to think about. That's all. And other, it goes into the different aspects of the player. HDMI CEC, power mode, HDD, and just different things that you may want to be looking into. Now what's cool here is that the media center application, if it's a scenario that you don't want, it can be a demo, script, movie, TV, whatever. Let's say that you don't want to view it in Home Theater 4.0. You can view it here. Now they give you a device list. They have favorite, storage, Samba, NFS. These two are going to be common when it comes to sharing files across your network. I do notice that a lot of setups don't have NFS. A lot more people use SMB, which is a Samba server, but whichever your preference. And then you have networks. So you have UPnP and Web DAV. And they do say it is not recommended to play high bitrate video files. And they give you their explanation here. So that's also useful. And mainly I had this hooked up to my Synology 2 and as you can see, I found my server immediately, showed the IP. Now for this one, I'm not logged in, only because I don't use this function and I did a factory reset. But the content that's going to be displayed here is literally going to be in Home Theater, which I will be showing shortly. One of the things you got to realize with this is that it honestly gives you what you will want in the simplest way. It's a media center where you can have the ability to scan. You can add stuff, a server, like if you have like an IP, a host, or a shared path. And if you know the credentials, if those credentials are active, you can add that into here. and delete, favorite, viewport, and there's also a settings where it gives you additional options that you can turn on and things that you can enable or disable depending on what you want to do. So in a nutshell, the media center can just be another way to view your content, or you may want to experiment and play around with some things that you may not want to touch in home theater, which is this application right here. So I did some testing. This one is presentation is off the hook. Just one of the things that I've always gave Zidoo props on was their presentation. Now I have edited this row here where it says movies, unmatch, and edit. By default, you get some more options and some more icons. And for this, for my setup, I like it as a movie player, and I will be going into that. But it gives you recommended, big posters presented well, high resolution posters. This really stands out. The larger your display, the more incredible that this setup is going to look. Right out of the gate, it brings the genres of your media library to the forefront. So you don't have to worry about any sort of weird navigation options or knowing, hey, like I want to go into this instead of viewing a whole library, where you can do it here. Like if I click on family, these are the movies that it's considered to be family based off my media library thus far. So Kanto, I've seen this one before. Nice movie. And there's the layout. And then it gives you your recently added. So one of the things here is that you click on this icon, you can filter, and they give you a lot of things that you can go through. Video, genre, region, year, sort, device, aggregation. I mean, you have it all here. Now, I really don't play too much with that. You can also search for your content, and you can search movies and TV, because that's what this application is built for specifically. Now, they give you a T9 keyboard and a full keyboard. I prefer the full keyboard. Let's say I want to look for Aqua, and when I search A, there we go. There's Aquaman. And it builds the collections, all that. Of course, it wouldn't be TV series. And then you can go into your content like that. Now I'm going to get into it. When you go to the gear icon, and they give you their settings is more customizable, and that's what I like about it. But if you go to the track feature, let's say if you have multiple Zidoo media players inside your entertainment or your household. So the idea here is that you can link track, and if you stop a film or a TV show in one room, and then you have the Zidoo media player, because these devices, they communicate with one another, then you should be able to resume off of the same file on a different Zidoo device that has the track feature support. You can set that up here. I don't have multiple Zidoo media players around my network or space, so I wouldn't be able to test this fully. But I do like that they added this, because It's useful. It's useful. Then you have a wallpaper feature. Then there's an about where it shows the IP, where you scan that QR code or type the web address into the browser's address bar. You can enter the control center and things like that. They give you options for saving poster images. I leave mine at default. A lot of this is going to be up to you. Different poster views, how you want the presentation of your layout in your home theater to be. You can set it here. Now for this review, I turned off the trailers. I don't want that smoke. But you see here, it gives you what you're currently watching. It gives you a nice thumbnail. It shows you your icons or what you want. You can edit. You can add things. You can take away things. You can edit the widgets. Region, sort. I keep it simple. This is simple. Now to get content added, all you do is go to add source. For me, since I'm sharing files through my network with a Synology 2-bay NAS, all I did was log in with my credentials. It pulled up my information. As you see right here, it's scanning Samba. There's PIN. You sign in, and the rest is history. It's that easy. If you have something that's directly plugged into the device, it's going to be listed. It's going to be listed here. And the simplicity of that is what attracts a lot of consumers to this device. Now I'm going to go into the movies. As you can see, it gives you a nice presentation. I'm going to do this. I'm going to shrink this, shrink it some more. All right, so it has to load this stuff, so bear with me. And as you can see, you have the different layouts and how you can present your content. So what I like over it is when you leave it highlighted over a movie, it brings up the additional information. You know, what's it about? Horror, gives you some of the codecs that it has. And this is a nice layout, I guess, if you have like a ton of films and you just like it like this. But this is cool. You know, this is real nice. And it can't get no lower than that. Let's do this. So you can see that the posters are increasing in size and the rows are increasing or decreasing in this case. And you can just have it be simple. You can sort by poster name, rating, date added, year, modified time, or duration. I keep it by default. You can change the look of how it's presented entirely. You can go that. Or the titles on the left hand side and you got your posters on the right and your information. When I think Zidoo, I think the ability to customize, honestly. So let's go into something. It's like a friendly one. Let's go Luca. All right, so one of the abilities that this player has is the ability to play a Blu-ray disc image. So some people are going to prefer ISO or ISO, or some people will prefer BDMV. These are just different formats that you can have that's hooked up to this player to where does it do. should have the ability to read it. Now, there have been some reported issues with BDNV files. These are ISO. Now, over here, you see where it says BD and play. If I hit play, it's just going to go straight into the content. If I hit BD, this is going to give me my menu support. Okay. And you can see ISO is supported here and all the codecs is right here. All right. So let me go into that. I want to hit that. Now I'm not going to, well, can't say that I'm not going to play anything, but we'll see. We'll see. And this review is like not going to be edited as much. It's just going to be, you're just going to see what you're going to get. This film has been viewed before. Would you like to continue where you left off? I will say no. So you see this is some menu support. I have play, scene selection, and I have settings. So if I go in settings, I have my disk languages, subtitles, and languages. And I have the scene selection. And you have play. So it has menu support. It's going to come down to whether you're doing BDNV or ISO, and whether or not the Zidoo is going to give you the full playback capability and things like that. When I did play, and I wound up watching this movie to its entirety, The Hitman Bodyguard, this has menu support as well. When I played it with the menu, it gave me a green screen. When I played it normally, which is right here, it played absolutely fine. So this was one of my like rare examples. But like I said, usually the people like the menus because they want to be able to just emulate you putting a disc into a physical player and then having it be on a player such as this. Plus, it's easier for scene selections or doing demos. Outside of that, the menus for me are not really spectacular. It's just really just some icing on a cake. You can get to your content quicker by just playing it directly, or you can get to the menus. Just depends on how you want to use this device. Okay, so there's got some animation examples in here. Spider-Man. And when you go into here, you can get more information. Like it's more metadata when it comes to the Zidoo content versus the Dune, for example. You just get more information, and you can look into certain things and say, hey, like, does this support this? And it'll display everything that it can. It gives you a nice, presentable interface, and it's easy to use. The colors pop, is more presentable, and it's understandable why everyone will go towards this for an option when it comes to your local media playback. All right. Now, I do want to get into some cons here. Pros is definitely going to be the interface, ease of use. Very easy to set up. And it does have everything that you need to be a core cutter. It gives you the applications. You just need to feed the content to this device, if that makes sense. All right. Now, what I'm going to be doing in this case is I'm going to be going over just some cons up until this review portion. I'm going to be pausing the video. All right, so we're just going to be taking a trip down memory lane. This was one of the videos that I presented to my community, or to the community, when it comes to the Zidoo media player, and just talking about my just frustrations dealing with the high 10 or the 10-bit video playback when it comes to anime and H.264. Now, if I'm being honest, technically that format doesn't exist on disk. That's more of a fan subbers thing, or in the encoding side when it comes to, the different various ways of people get content when it comes to this device. Not everyone that uses the Zidoo media player goes out and buy a physical disc, learns how to properly rip, and gets the content that way. It's time consuming. It can be complex for a lot of people. And to be honest, it's not necessary if you don't want it to happen. But I wanted to highlight this because if this is going to be advertised as a premium or a high-end media player, then it needs to have some sort of software or fallback support for these type of situations or these file types. And it simply did not occur. As I play the video, and I can link this in as well, or you can search this on my channel. You see, can't play video. If I paid my hard-earned cash for this device, I should be able to play it. So what I would recommend is that when you are getting your content from various sources, I would be careful about the high 10 format if you are an anime lover. Now it supports AV1. So if you get it in that type of format, you'll be good to go. Just certain formats, certain things, I've noticed this player isn't very welcoming. And everything's going to have its pros and cons, which is why I'm going over it. So just keep that in mind when we're having a open and honest dialogue when it comes to like this media player. It does not play everything, but it does play more type of file types than what you would typically see on a Plex, MB, or a Jellyfin. It has the 3D support. It has the BDMV folder playback support. It has the ISO support. It has things, and it brings things to the table that other media players either struggle with or just simply don't support as easily as Zidoo, Dune, or Revolution within that media player family. So just some things to keep in mind, honestly. And as far as the TV shows, I'm going to be going to that one moment. Okay, so I'm sort of pausing the video just so we can save some time here in between as much as we can. But I dropped it for TV, particularly because if I'm using automation software, things like Sonar for automatically renaming TV shows, once they're being archived or indexed, or even FileBot, the goal is to not do cleanup. And this is with intelligent scraping. Now, I'm going to give a shout out once more because it's in the video description. So Philly Cable Dave and also Rich, a little poor boy 132, because they suggest using intelligent. So I'm going by what the community suggests, and also I went by what I prefer to use, which is the movie database and the TV DB. Well, the different options that Zidoo gives you. The goal here is that I should not be doing cleanup. Definitely when my automation software works in different media players. So this was like a step back for me, per se. And I can easily see if you're in the hundreds of TV series, particularly with anime, how this could be an issue. Now, is it an issue for you? That depends on if you watch the type of content that I watch. If it's not an issue for you, then your experience would differ. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying in this. And everybody gotta do what's best for them at the end of the day. So I definitely did not want to waste the time to recreate this scenario. But hey, but for the shows that it did pick up, I was happy that it did. And the intelligence scraper is better than the TV scraper that I did personally select. It did pick up more, but I want that near perfection like a Plex or MB or even a Jellyfin or even Dune. I should not have to do any cleanup work, if at all, very few. And that's where this device dropped the ball at. But it's only specifically when it comes to my Japanese content. So I'm speaking to you all in terms of my experience. Like that show right there, that's supposed to be an anime. I don't know how it even picked up that. I didn't have any of that in the file names or. So it's just something that you just got to keep in mind if you want to have this be a multi-purposeful device. That's all I'm saying. All right. So that's that. Go back to the player. All right. So I'm going to go into the apps and I'm going to go into the music player. And listen, Zidoo Music, they give you a nice layout. You can do networks, you have UMP support. They give you a settings to where you can go in and customize this and tweak it to your heart intent. I think what Zidoo did here is that they wanted to give you a device to where they provided the premium applications and then you go out and you feed the content to this player. That's really it. You have a sources, add folder. I don't have any music on my network attached storage. To be quite honestly, with music, I'm 100% streaming. I'm all digital. I've been that way for years, quite a while. And but for those of you that like to go out and fetch your local music files, however you do it, it's none of my business, then you can add it into here. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think the presentation is simple. I mean, it doesn't oversell itself. It doesn't do anything, or it's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just another thing that Zidoo has mastered. And I believe they mastered UI. They mastered simplicity. And that's just something that this device has that separates itself from the competition. All right. So, and you can full screen that. There's no lyrics, but this can give you like a visual. If you had music, what would it look like if you have your play, pause, and your different options when it comes to this player. So overall, they give you everything. You have the ability to sideload content as well. they have APK installer. You have the option to install applications through a USB, or you have it through the web. With the web, as long as you have access to a browser, if you enter in that IP address, then you're able to get your applications onto this device. They give you both options, USB and web. There's no additional applications that you need out of the box to be successful with this device. This device comes pre-installed with these applications: home theater, music, APK installer. Only thing I sideloaded was Analytics. The point is, you can cord cut with Music Player and Home Theater 4.0 if you care about the music. I mean, primarily you're purchasing this device for a home theater. And you have the ability to add applications because it's Android based. So at the end of the day, you can have this be an all-in-one media player, and you can use it to your heart's content. And it's just one of those solid players that's out in the market. Now, this isn't going to be your Google certified device. This is not going to be a device to where if you want to have all the Netflix features, you watch Voodoo, you do this, that, and the third. This device is going to be mainly for your local media, and you can add your IPTV app of choice to it so that you can have your live. Let's say if you watch live TV casually, but you're heavy into VOD, because this is a VOD type of device, then you can set that up. You add a premium IPTV application to this device, paired with your local media, and then some other apps that you may use. And little do you know, you have yourself an all-in-one device that's solid. But the point of getting this is to get away from those streaming services as much as you can, and you build your own from the ground up. And you can do it with this device. All right, so that about wraps it up. You guys know what my issues with it, and you know where it shines. And where it shines real bright. Okay. Now, does it have more pros than cons? Absolutely. I still have it in my possession. If it didn't bring nothing to the table, trust me, I would not have it. It wouldn't be part of my collection. All right. That's just food for thought. So if you have any questions, any comments, concerns, let me know down in the comment section. Until next time, peace out. Thank you for watching and take care. Goodbye.